Year A, Lesson 17, Faithful in Affliction. Sunday's lesson is entitled, Who was Job? Memory verse, 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 9. We have been made a spectacle to the world, both to angels and to men. Our Bible reference is found in Job chapter 1, verses 1 to 11. Why are we interrupting the story of Moses to tell the story of Job when there are 15 other books between Exodus and Job in our Bible library? The reason is that during the 40 years Moses was herding sheep in the land of Midian, before he went back to Egypt, he wrote Genesis, the book of beginnings, and also the book of Job. Because most of the story of Job is written as poetry, it was placed with other books of poetry in the Bible instead of between Genesis and Exodus. Job was well known, and he probably lived until shortly before the time of Moses. So, after Moses leaves Midian and before he meets Pharaoh in Egypt, we are pausing to include the story of Job. It will help us understand more about our loving God, and it will give us a wonderful example of choosing to love and trust God no matter what happens. How does the Bible describe Job at the beginning of his story? Job chapter 1 verses 1 to 3. There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep, and 3,000 camels, and 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 she asses, and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all the men of the east. In a very interesting meeting God had with his angels, he talked about Job. It seems that Satan wasn't invited to the meeting, but he was there anyway. What did God ask him, and how did he reply? Job chapter 1, verses 6 to 8. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and eschewed evil? What God said to Satan was a wonderful compliment to Job, but Satan made fun of what God said. His reply was like saying, Of course, Job respects you. Why shouldn't he? You have been taking good care of him. But just stop giving him all those blessings, and he'll turn against you, and even curse you. Satan was really saying that God has to bribe people to get them to choose to obey him instead of obeying Satan. What would God say about that? The angels were listening. How could God prove that wasn't true? There was only one way. God would have to let Satan remove Job's blessings to show why he was choosing to be faithful to him. Let's apply it. Have you chosen to love and trust Jesus no matter what happens to you?